You know that feeling, right? You're walking down the street, you bump into someone, and you instantly recognize them.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know you've had a great conversation, maybe at a conference or something, but then it happens. Their name, poof, completely vanished from your mind.
It's that universal, slightly, well, cringeworthy moment, isn't it?
Totally. That little flush of embarrassment.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do you navigate that? With grace, without tripping over your words.
It's a situation pretty much everyone faces.
Hmm.
Our memory, it's fascinating, but sometimes, yeah, frustrating.
Absolutely. So, our mission today in this deep dive is really to equip you, not just with like the essential English phrases, but also the deeper social strategies. The goal is to help you master these kinds of awkward moments.
Exactly. We're going to look at a real-life dialogue from our source material.
Yeah, and we'll extract those crucial nuggets, those little bits of insight that'll help you communicate with confidence and fluency, turn potential blunders into smooth interactions.
Right. And what's interesting is how just a few well-placed words, maybe some clever social moves, can make all the difference.
We'll break down not just what to say, but maybe why it works, on a deeper level. So you can sound more natural, more poised in those, let's say, high stakes social scenarios.
Okay, let's jump in.
Let's do it. So the scenario our source gives us, imagine this guy, Nick. He's just, going about his day, and bam, bumps into Anna Faris.
Okay.
They had met at a conference maybe last week, had a really good chat, actually, about foreign investment. So far, so good.
Right. Seems normal.
Until that moment of truth. Nick has to kind of sheepishly admit, you know what, this is really embarrassing, but your name has just slipped my mind. Ouch.
Oh, you can just feel that discomfort, can't you? It's such a common predicament.
Yeah, the embarrassment for Nick is palpable. But what's really interesting here, and maybe a crucial lesson for all of us, is Anna's response.
Ah, yes. How does she react?
She's incredibly gracious. Just says, don't worry about it. It happens to me all the time. I'm terrible with names too.
Wow. That quick empathy, it just instantly diffuses the whole situation. That's key.
It really is, that understanding from Anna. Okay, so let's pull out some specific language from this exchange and other examples in our sources. Things that offer, powerful takeaways for real life.
Good idea.
In that first moment, Nick mentions he was in a bit of a hurry. Now, what does this phrase really communicate? I mean, beyond just, I don't have time, what's its social use?
Well, in a bit of a hurry is it's a really useful phrase. It gives you a polite, immediate out, so to speak.
An out.
Yeah. It signals, look, I value this encounter, but my time right now is, well, limited. It's less about literally sprinting somewhere and more about setting an expectation, maybe for a quick chat or maybe deferring the conversation.
Okay, that makes sense.
You see it in examples like, can you drive faster? I'm in a bit of a hurry. Or maybe, sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm in a bit of a hurry. It just politely sets a boundary. No rudeness intended.
That's a great way to manage an unexpected interaction, especially if you're caught off guard like Nick probably was.
Exactly.
And speaking of, continuing the conversation later, Nick also asks Anna if she still has his contact details. What's the strategic angle there, beyond just swapping info?
Ah, contact details. Usually means, name, phone number, email, stuff on a business card.
Right.
Strategically, asking if she has his details is quite clever. It subtly shifts the focus away from the awkward name thing.
Oh, interesting. How so?
It pivots the conversation towards facilitating a future interaction. It becomes less about Nick's memory fail and more about, hey, I value this connection. Let's make sure we can follow up.
Okay, I see.
And by asking if she has his, it puts the ball in her court. It gives her an easy opening to offer hers back if she wants, without him directly asking, which might feel pushy. It just helps the conversation move past that sticky moment.
That is clever. Proactive. Moving things forward. Which brings us back to Nick's main issue. Your name has just slipped my mind. Our sources say this idiom is key. What's the subtle difference between saying it slipped my mind and just, I forgot? Why is it so effective?
That's a really good point. It's about framing, isn't it? Saying it slipped my mind frames the forgetting as unintentional, an accident, a common human thing.
Ah, okay. Less like a personal failing.
Exactly. Less like I didn't care enough to remember and more like, oops, my brain glitched for a second. It taps into empathy. When something slips, it's accidental. It makes it much easier for the other person, like Anna, to be gracious.
Right, like those examples. Sorry, I didn't email back. It just slipped my mind. Or, oh, it's your birthday. Completely slipped my mind.
Yeah,
Captures that unintentional lapse.
precisely. It softens the blow, as you said. It's like a linguistic shortcut to saying, I messed up, but not on purpose.
Without beating yourself up too much. Okay, let's unpack a few more everyday expressions that popped up. Anna asks Nick, do you live around here? Let's talk about around here, right around the corner and around there. They seem simple, but there are nuances, right?
Oh, definitely. It's all about proximity. Around here is pretty general. Just means close by in this vicinity. Like, is there a bank around here? You're asking broadly.
Got it. And right around the corner.
That becomes much more specific. It means on the next street or super close, almost literally just around the corner.
Yeah.
There's a great little cafe right around the corner, very immediate.
Okay. Specific.
And then around there usually refers to being near a particular, often larger place or area. Someone mentioned, oh, you mentioned Los Angeles. Yeah, I used to live around there. It implies proximity to that reference point.
So understanding those little differences helps you sound more, well, natural when giving or asking for directions.
Absolutely. It's those small details that build fluency.
Which brings us back to Anna's really kind response. She said, I'm terrible with names, too. That phrase, terrible with, it seems incredibly versatile. Why is admitting I'm terrible with names so effective socially?
Ah, yes. This is where language really acts as a social lubricant. When Anna says, I'm terrible with names, too, she's doing more than stating a fact.
What's she doing?
She's establishing shared vulnerability. She's saying, hey, what just happened to you? It happens to me too. It's normal.
So it normalizes Nick's mistake.
Exactly. Makes it a universal experience, not his personal failing. It creates an instant connection, that me too feeling, which just takes the sting right out of the awkwardness.
And you can use terrible with for lots of things.
Oh, totally. Like the sources show, you're terrible with numbers, I'm terrible with directions, maybe I'm terrible with faces, or I'm terrible with technology. It's a really low-stakes way to admit a weakness and invite a bit of empathy.
I can definitely relate to that. I mean, Nick forgetting Anna's name, totally been there. I once completely blanked, completely on my uncle's name at a big family reunion.
Oh, wow. Family reunion, that's high pressure.
Tell me about it. So many aunts, uncles, cousins I hadn't seen in ages. I just felt truly terrible with names that whole day. I actually had to pull my cousin aside discreetly and whisper, hey, who's that guy over there?
What did your cousin say?
He just looked at me like I was crazy and said, dude, that's Uncle John. I was so embarrassed. I think I just called him Uncle for the rest of the day to avoid saying the wrong name again. Anna's phrase, I'm terrible with names too, would have been perfect right then.
That's such a relatable story, and it really shows the power of just owning that vulnerability.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly to overall fluency. Anna starts her greeting with Nick by saying, how's it going? What's the impact of that specific choice? Versus, say, how are you? Or how are you doing?
That's a good question. They seem so similar, but yeah, how's it going? Just feels more natural, more casual, especially with friends or in like less formal spots. Sets a relaxed tone right away, doesn't it?
It really does. It sounds more native, more effortless, partly because it's maybe a slightly less direct inquiry. How
Right.
are you? Can sometimes feel like it demands a proper, maybe even detailed answer.
Right, like you have to give a status report.
Kind of. Whereas, how's it going? Feels more like a general friendly acknowledgement. It shows casual interest in the other person's state without putting them on the spot for a deep answer. It just signals a relaxed conversational vibe.
Okay, so we've covered some specific phrases, which is great, but let's circle back to handling that core awkwardness, the forgotten name. In the real world, maybe a business setting. Beyond the phrases, what practical tricks do our sources suggest when a name just evaporates?
Yeah, this is where strategy meets social grace. One very common, very effective trick from the source material. Simply ask for their business card.
Ah, the business card moves.
It's
Classic.
it's a standard professional thing to do anyway. And boom, you get their full name, usually spelled out clear as day. Problem solved. No awkward confession needed.
That's brilliant. Simple, direct, solves the problem without highlighting the forgetting part.
Exactly. Or let's say maybe they don't have a card on them. Another tactic is to politely ask them to write down their email address.
Why email?
Because most professional email addresses, or even personal ones, contain the person's full name or at least first and last name, right in the address itself. Again, it gets you the info indirectly.
Oh, very clever. These small, sort of indirect strategies can save a lot of discomfort. Keep your composure.
Totally.
And for you listening, these aren't just like language tricks, they're social hacks, right?
Yeah.
Real world solutions for when your mind just goes blank. They let you gracefully handle those unexpected moments.
Right. These anecdotes, these tips, they're valuable because they can help you turn that potentially awkward situation into something that feels much more confident and controlled.
Equip you to handle things with more confidence, turn embarrassment into connection, maybe?
That's the goal.
Okay, so to wrap up, we've armed you today with some really essential phrases, haven't we? The polite exit, in a bit of a hurry.
Uh-huh. The empathetic slipped my mind.
The connecting phrase, terrible with.
Right. The location nuances of around here.
And that natural, casual greeting, how's it going?
Yeah.
But maybe more importantly, beyond just the words, we've pulled out these practical, real-world strategies for handling those common, slightly embarrassing moments. Especially, when a name just disappears.
We saw how Anna's graciousness, plus maybe a few clever tactics, can totally reshape how an interaction feels.
Which really leads to a bigger question, doesn't it? What's the power of language beyond just like fluency or knowing definitions?
That's a great point to ponder.
Yeah, think about it. Mastering these specific, nuanced phrases and combining them with some smart social strategies like asking for that business card or just admitting a shared human weakness, it doesn't just improve your English, it builds real confidence, social grace, especially in those unexpected encounters.
It really can. Those small linguistic details, those social moves, they can transform a potentially awkward moment.
Make it smooth, maybe even charming. So the next time a name slips your mind, remember, you've got the tools now. You can turn that moment into, well, maybe even a triumph of connection.